Dr. Bawumia eventually picks up this note and is to face the NDC. How are the chances going to be looking at, knowing very well that the issue of consistency that Jeffrey spoke about, we're bringing the same person again? Would it make a difference?
Look, the reality is that
Abusia mama na wase na mema wakwa aba asem aba yen papa Musah Danquah aye na yen se eba electoral pools ho a woye number 1 e wo Ghana memo ha nkofo bebre eba e besisi no mu nyina akwa akoda ono nko a na all gini din Joy Prime TV omo frɛ Musah Danquah a na omo ye no interview e na omo bisa ne se Musa sisi ye upu bia wo de beba bontim bia no Dr. Bawumia e na onwini pools no na so onwini prime minister na 2028 chances was say obenwini no Musa eti say Musah Danquah se ma o kan ye no menua wo te na se wo ye NPP ni a wo yam ebehyew na wo wire nso ebehu ye pa memo wa hwese video no wo wi akọ comment section wo se de Musah Danquah all can eti sa ana say de all can on sesan ye bi ebetumi abam e na Musah Danquah kro na wo san so aye pu bi a wo kire se sisi aye wo system regions e wo Ghana memo ha na enkrofo dodo a omo different regions omo so photo different political parties no say bia wo kwa Ashanti region percentage saying na omo ye NDC for the whole nation omo ye NDC for kwa Ashanti region percentage say na ewo ho say no betime yensunsanso kese pa ewo 2028 general elections no eso na kame aye sense mo Musah Danquah ka no NDC omo get some grounds to be ewo Ashanti region NPP they are losing the touch ewo Ashanti region ye betie say video na ye wia be nasem o kafa Dr. Bawumia ho no ato aso mo nansa na be say video mi no menua a churchfo binom aye press conference no mo sem nyina omo ka ene say omo ye adwuma more than 10 months obi dey 12 months obi dey 13 months only 1 month akatua na his L0SE John Mahama wade emo say nyina be ka ya 2013 na eba 2016 mo no sansem no bi so ema ye benya legacy L0SE last kwanapo ka ho nsem ite kame se sa suban no ye aye President John Mahama ede ye besre no obi eye adwuma ansa na obe han dan na wonye sika to aduane edi Africa ko adwuma wanyie na wakatua beba wa amamte no enafom me ma mekasa enye tenti yenkoko tie de ye brothers no mo ka ewia me de Musah Danquah videos no ebeto asoma wo hwe videos no na ewia na wa kire wadwen unya subscribe ya mesro se obe subscribe like video we na share ma wo bi no so nya bi kanke me da wase video no emra
within him no unya staff ID na yenkrofo ni bebre nso koye revalidation ni bi nanso ye kwahwe list ni mu no mudin ni that means say enya ade a omubenya and yentimi enye sa asam ni ntum enu nti na ene ye hia ha say ye de bet famoso na ye de ato aban nanim na omahwe na sa corrections ni nyina omaye ebiem ye salary arrears no omuntu yae ye mu bi de ye 14 months ebi nso de ye 10 months ebi nso kra de ye 15 months edunti ye sra aban no na de ye ya wo ho ni say omo validate ye bu bi no November no arrears ni nyina hye ye dia no say omo bitua sika ne ba ya 1 month pe ne ba ebi December ye nim empanimfo ekasae e ma empanimfo ni bi kire say December ne de omo betua ye ka December akatua validation by omo validate ye bu bi no mu ana sika ni nyina hye ano ama ye ni age afia sika ne e ba 1 month pe ene beto your account and ebesi ne Ghana Education Service, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Finance, Controller and Accountant General's Department. Obia ntimi ma abonten me kan say ebia da say another say ene ye betua amka. Ye kwa de omka kire ani say ye betua. Nanso ubetua na won kire me da ubetua na no bi so mu say. Enu nti na ye hia wa anti ye pese ye famoso. Na sa issues ayabobo so yi nyina no. Moma Ghana mighty say ohawa ye famunie ye deka ye nua num bi wo ho a omo yare a e wo se omukọ ayare sabia but sika omo de be ko ni ho ye nua ba ko ye yakra ye ne flyer a ne ye de sere sika ma no ayade a eni kwan sesi any kwan say e ban this because ni sika ne ka ban de no so onya say sika na obetimi di ahwe ne ho amebi aka nti ye hia wa ha na ne ye hawa ye pese ye de tum anim enyina ye damase na ade ba ko ne say ye fa akonya we so aka kire aban ne say January ya yesimu say when tua ye ka na wamfa ye hawa ya boso nyina no wan resolve amaye ya ye besa demonstrate bi na ebia na this time there enye demonstration ni nko ye the legal actions beka ho said ye be ya on be hu ni say ye ni abre na enye say ye sre sika na afiri aban ne ho eye adwuma na ya ye ene wo so mutu ya ye ka yes adwuma ya ye ya damase.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Global Info Analytics. Today is 5th January 2026. We're doing a special edition on political party affiliations in Ghana today. And also to look at which regions contribute the highest to each party's base. I mean, if you're looking for MPP voters, which region would give you idea of where most of them are. And we're going to do this in the context of the December national tracking poll. In the national tracking poll for December, we showed that party affiliation in this country has shifted a bit. Among people who say they are NDC, they represent about 42%. So if you do a random poll in the country today, averagely, the people you see that they say they are NDC among the population is about 42%. And those who say they are MPP, around 27%. Now, if you look at the floating voters, they've gone to around 17%. And if you look at the people who don't tell you they are party, it's about 10%. And other political parties, roughly around 4%. This is the data as at October 2025. In December 2025, we do have some changes. NDC around 41%, drop of 1%. MPP around 26%, drop of 1%. Floating voters around 19%, up 2%. So you could see that MPP and NDC have lost slightly to people who are floating voters. Now, what we're going to present to you next is to say, for example, if you pick people who say they are MPP, which region accounts for most of them? We'll compare what contribution they made last year and what they are making in the current year. So, for example, in 2024, we have 19% of MPP voters all coming from Ashanti region. So Ashanti region was accounting for 19% of MPP voters. Greater Accra was accounting for 16%, followed by Eastern region around 15%, Central region around 14%, and Northern region was around 8%. Now, Ashanti region now contributes 24% of all MPP people. So if you put 100 people on the side, Ashanti region accounts for 24% of MPP people. The next is Greater Accra. 16% of MPP people come from Greater Accra. And then you have 12% coming from the Northern region, which is grown quite significant. And then Eastern region accounts for around 10%, and Central region around 8%. So you can see that the importance of some of these regions has become very key to the political parties. And so for MPP, it is Ashanti region, 24%, Greater Accra, 16%, and then you have Northern region, 12%, Eastern region, 10%, Central region, 8%. Western region is now accounting for just 5% of MPP base, which means that the base has really shrunk in where they need to be growing. Now, when it comes to the NDC, look, we've seen a a significant shift in the pattern. Greater Accra still remains the bedrock of NDC. In 2024, Greater Accra was accounting for 23% of all NDCs in Ghana. Now that number is 24%, up just around 0.9%. Come next is Ashanti region. Ashanti region is now the second, maybe the third largest contribution of NDC voters. So Ashanti region now accounts for 11% of all NDCs in Ghana. But in second place is Central region. Central region accounts for 13% of all NDCs in Ghana. Central region, 13%. It used to be 11%, now it's gone up 13%. So in terms of top regions that contribute to NDC, which is quite significant, Greater Accra is 24%. Central region is 13%. Ashanti region is 11%. Eastern region is now 7%. A slight decline, but still significant. And the North region, 7%. Volta region is 6%. And Western region accounts for 6.8%. So we're not saying vote. We are saying those who openly say we are NDC. These are the regions that are accounting for the lion's share of those people. Now, if you go to floating voters, with the floating voters, it used to be Greater Accra, Central region, Western region, and so on and so forth, but the Bono area. Now, the story has completely changed. Greater Accra still accounts for the largest portion of floating voters. It moved from 16% in 2024 to 27% now. So Accra has gotten a lot more of the floating voters. These numbers, I'll tell you where they came from. Then you have Ashanti region. Ashanti region is now the number 2 contributor of floating voters. Number 2. So a lot more people have become floating voters in Ashanti region, apart from Greater Accra. Then you have Eastern region, number 3. So you can see that the top 3 regions that are critical for MPP are also accounting for highest numbers of floating voters. People are leaving MPP to become floating voters in Ashanti region and in Eastern region. Voter region has also increased, now about 6% of all people who are floating voters come from voter region. And then also Central region is now accounting for only 4% of all floating voters. And then Western region, which used to be number 3, accounts for only 4%. So there has been a change in the party affiliation that has resulted in the kind of shift in the movement of how regions contribute to the national average. Now, if you look at other political party supporters, mostly what are they? Mostly they are in Western region. Western region last year was accounting for 19%, now 18%, still a big number. Lying in second is voter region. People who say we support other political parties, 15% of them come from voter region, behind Western region. That's quite high. Ashanti is number 3, 11%. And then Bono region, 10%. Greater Accra, 9%. Eastern region, 7%. So you can see that among those who we support other parties like PMP, PPP, CPP, GUM, and the rest, Western region is the biggest contributor. And indeed, I think GUM is much stronger in Western region, in Ashanti region, than anywhere else. And we believe that the Western region, other parties, and Ashanti region, other parties may probably come from GUM historically. Now, those who say we will not disclose our political party affiliation, where are they from? Which region are they contributing more? 18% of all people who say we won't tell you our party affiliation come from Eastern region. Eastern region, it used to be 12%, now it's gone up to 18%. This is a stronghold for MPP. So it shows that people who have become, maybe the brand is no longer attractive, they are now openly wanting to be linked to MPP. In second place is Ashanti region. 17% of all our not disclosed voters are in Ashanti region. It used to be 8% the year before, now 17%. Western region used to account for 12% before, now it is 13% of those who say, I won't tell you my party affiliation. Central region is 10%. It used to be 14%, now 10%. It's come down. And Greater Accra, it used to be 21%, now it's gone down to 8%. A dramatic shift in those who say, I will not disclose. What they disclosed to, we saw that they probably moved to floating voters and some to other parties. So this is the situation with the party affiliation in Ghana today. And thank you very much. Take note of these numbers. It's on my Facebook wall. If you want to have more details about these numbers, they are there. You can download them and see how differently Ghana look from a year ago. Thank you.
Dr. Bawumia eventually picks up this nod and is to face the NDC. How are the chances going to be looking at, knowing very well that the issue of consistency that Jeffrey spoke about, we're bringing the same person again? Would it make a difference?
Look, the reality is that we've done a scenario involving top 4 NDC candidates against Bawumia. And he's losing against all of them.
Wow. Regardless of whoever the NDC brings.
Yes, in terms of the 4 leading candidates.
Yeah.
Haruna Idrisu, Atufosin, Sedwin Ketia, and Julius Debra.
Dr. Bawumia will lose against any of them.
That's the current polling data.
Would it change? We have 3 years to do this. Would it change in any way?
Oh yes, definitely things will move up and down. For some of the candidates, it might be very close. And for some, the gap will still be there. Currently, the poll shows that Haruna Idrisu and Atufosin will get the biggest landslide possibly. But Sedwin Ketia and Julius might win with a whisker, which is not what you want to have.
Yeah. Bawumia.
Yes, yakwa hebiri na ba. Ye best friend His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Ye bro de siase mo kan so what ya ye best friend untu ho na mo. And Musah Danquah so wa kire na adwen. Yes, the work can enye fana. Even we have about 3 years to go. Nyoma bebre betimi asi. What you say, I betimi asesa inyoma. In so we NDC ni na say wo hwa. Don't be too complacent. And now we NPP no so a ma we hu bebre because within the second Nyankopon timi edisachira inyoma mu. Ye ndi e bompa yes the best candidate obebo o man Ghana. And na onwene na enye NPP ADC sem. And na yeti ha sebe. Ye beye. Mama na wase na memfa wo esia. Minia answer na yebe kono nya subscribe. Like a video is for mommy. Share na wonu bi so. Onya bi enhwe comment bi ala won. Just go to the comment section. Drop in na go home mama. Na ma yi am. E dem. Me da wase Nyankopon kan wo. Me na wo ABC bi sisi e makra. Bye bye.